See, I didn't always think I was going to be a pastor. In fact, I never, ever imagined this.
I never really thought I would be a pastor.
The answer to that question would be no. I never thought I would be a youth pastor.
I knew I'd be tied into ministry some way or another.
But as a kid growing up, I've always been involved in church. I always thought that I would be involved somehow in church. Growing up in church and seeing my parents, follow Jesus. And
when I heard the call of being in ministry, I was 9 years old at an altar in Litchfield, Ohio, at a small church that seated about 60 people.
I knew I was called to ministry, for sure. When I was 13, my parents were called to Russia, and we packed up all our bags and we sold everything, and within 3 months, my siblings and I, with my family, all moved to Russia.
And as a kid, you always look up to your dad, so you want to lead worship because dad does that, and you want to be in church because dad's in church.
And I was in the back, and an evangelist gave this altar call, "You come to Jesus," and he did even one of those Pentecostal uppercuts, and I went up and my knees hit the floor and at the altar, and it was literally burgundy carpet. I remember.
As a kid growing up with my brother, we've always been involved in worship and youth and media and everything involved in church.
And I said, "God, whatever you want me to do, I'll do." And he gave me the word, it said, "Pastor, I want you to pastor." And I remember going back to the seats, and I looked at my mom in the eyes and I said, "Mom, God told me I'm going to be a pastor." She goes, "I will never let you forget."
Whether it was through music, whether it was through setting up chairs, whatever it was, just church has always been somewhere where I was drawn to with my brother to do anything, really.
But on our way there, we went to this missionary kid camp, and they took all the kids. I was 13 years old, and they kind of rallied us together in this camp, and they said very clearly that God doesn't just call your parents, He calls families. He calls you, that you're called no matter your age. And at that point in that time, I really took ownership of the calling, and I knew that at that age that God called me and He wanted to use me.
It was one of the most amazing experiences. So my whole entire teenage life, every time I tried to walk away from God, every time that I would go from one area to another area, my mom would always say, "Remember your calling. Remember your calling." And that's the most beautiful thing about it, is to know that you're called. You've been set apart to do something for Christ. It's amazing.
Well, I kind of got that. It's like God is saying, "Hey dudes, there's a lot of work to be done," and my father put this help wanted sign, and he's saying, who's in?
I'm in ministry right now, and I get to come to work and literally love every second of it.
As far as being a pastor, I feel like we have the coolest job in the world. I mean, as of right now, being able to serve the kids is just an amazing experience, and I feel honored. I mean, it's to the point that weekends, I can't wait for the weekends to come just so we can serve the kids.
And serving people, answering phones, working with the coolest, the most fun, the most amazing staff ever.
How many people can say they work with their best friend? And not only that, but serving your purpose in life, fulfilling God's calling while doing it with your best friend is the most amazing thing in the world. So
I feel every day on a daily basis overwhelmed by the opportunity that God would choose me, flaws and all.
I want to help. I want to be part of this. I want to be part of what's coming up. I want to be part of the new that God wants here in Cape.
We've seen a lot of people's lives change, and that just gives us the fuel to keep on moving forward. And with the direction of our pastor Mike, just moving forward into everything God has for Cape Assembly and just for the staff in general.
Being a pastor is a dream job. It's doing everything you love at once.